In chapter 2, question 6, we're asking you to have a look at a passage in the book of 1 Peter, where the Apostle Peter uses the phrase to be born again. Of course, this is reflecting the usage that Jesus had when he had the meeting with Nicodemus, and he said, "You must be born again, Nicodemus. Surely you understand this." And Peter uses that same phrase. Other apostles use different phrases. Paul, most notably, used the phrase to be a new creation, but Peter's repeating Christ's term here, you must be born again. And he goes on and he says, you can be born of imperishable seed or perishable seed. And the simple understanding of this is that you can be born spiritually or you can be born physically. If you're born physically, and we're all born physically, so here we are listening to this video, but sooner or later we're going to die. But if we're born spiritually, we will go on living forever because it's an imperishable component of our being. And in another place, he compares that to being born of Adam or born of Christ. So we're born of the physical body, we're born of the physical body, or we're born of the spiritual body. And when we're born of Adam, we live and die. But when we're born of Christ, we're born again to live forever. Now, there is a deeper teaching that goes with this. It's not entirely intended in what Peter writes, but it's a passage, it's an understanding that's good for you to be aware of. And sometimes you'll miss it because the scriptures translate the word seed differently in different translations. And so you won't find the word seed and you'll think, oh, that's not saying the same thing, but it actually is saying the same thing. And the key verse for you to look at would be to go to Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15, where the curse is given to the serpent, who is Satan. The curse is given that you will strike the woman's seed on the heel, and the woman's seed will strike you on the head, will squash your head. So you'll give a minor wound, but he will give a major wound. He will mortally wound you. And we understand that this is fulfilled in the occurrences of Calvary, when Satan wounded Christ, but Christ completely obliterated the work of the devil, completely nullified the work of the devil. And that is not yet fulfilled, but the victory has been won already through what happened at Calvary, and the fulfillment is still working its way out. And it works its way out in our lives every day of our lives as we turn to Christ and we reject the teachings of the devil. And so in that passage, it's saying that one will come. Now there's another passage I'm going to direct you to in a moment, that the seed, in English, we can talk about seed as a plural or as a singular. But in the original language, it was talking about a single person. It was talking about not all of your descendants, Adam or Eve, but a single person. And again, when this is used in reference to Abraham at another time, later on in Genesis, and when we talk about it in the book of Galatians, it's talking about a single person is coming. So the seed of the woman was referencing the coming of Jesus Christ. And the seed of Satan continues to be evil in this world. And the seed of Satan would strike Christ on the heel, but the seed of the woman would squash him entirely. Now you can then go, if you like, to Galatians chapter 4 and Galatians chapter 3 and verse 16, and you'll find that Paul is describing some of the promises to Abraham, using this word, the seed. And he makes the point that he's not talking about many descendants. He's talking about the one descendant, the Christ who was to come. And so this is the fulfillment of this prophecy of the seed, and we're born of the imperishable seed. We're born of Christ when we're born again, rather than just physically born. We're born of the water and of the Spirit. We're not just born of the water. We're not just born physically, but we're born spiritually, and that will carry us on in an imperishable way into eternity.